to interview the fellows within the professional body, as well as other distinguished leaders and personalities within the society. Remember, our main mandate is to provide, to produce leaders who are sincere and committed towards leadership development. And this we do by having seminars, this we do by having programs as we are doing. This we do by inviting other individual leaders in the society to join us as members, either through our direct membership route, where we take the individual's CV and use the CV to assess the person's academic qualification as well as professional experience, or with our second route, which is the academic route, where they go through our 6 levels of education for us to assign a membership credentials to that individual. And today we have 2 distinguished personalities in our midst doing this and being the guest for today. And as you know, last week we started our conversation on continuing professional development education, which we know that is very, very vital to the professional development to every individual who aspire to be professional, to be a professional in the kind of career that person is pursuing. So today too, we are still continuing that same conversation. And to do us the honor and to be our guest for today, we have with us Kate Kooper. Kate Kooper. Kate is also a council member of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance, and also the head of research and policy for the Leadership Institute. In fact, when Kate would also introduce herself when we also bring her on the floor. We also have with us Professor Jonathan Fletcher, also the next chairman for the Institute, also for the Ghana chapter. Kate and Prof. Fletcher, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start as we've always been doing. If you have any question, kindly you can text us those questions at the message area. You can text us those questions, and we'll along the way we'll ask our guests. Or if you are also watching us from our various Facebook pages, we have 11 pages on Facebook. We have CILG Ghana, we have CILG Bostwana, CILG Kenya, CILG Nigeria. We have IRDM University. We have Occupy. We have Premier Graduate Institute. All these Facebook pages are streaming live the interview. So if you are watching us on any of these Facebook handles and you have any question, kindly type those questions at the comment section. And we have other people who are monitoring this Facebook feeds, and they will let us have your questions here, and we'll ask those questions on your behalf, and our guests will do us the honor to answer those questions for us. So we'll start with Kate. Kate, kindly introduce yourself and Ali, so that we'll get to know more of the things that you do before we start with the main interview.
Hello, yes, my name's Kate Kooper. I'm really pleased to be talking to everybody today. I'm Head of Research, Policy and Standards at the Institute of Leadership and Management, which is a professional body based in the UK, primarily members from the United Kingdom, but also from all around the world. So we represent a community of over 40,000 leaders, managers, coaches, because we believe that inspirational leadership is what's needed to make people happy, to achieve social well-being and economic prosperity. So that is what we're always campaigning for, and we want to inspire great leadership everywhere. And we also think that leadership is for everybody. It's not for the elite, it's not just for the senior people in organisation, but everybody can be a leader, irrespective of their age or their position, their level of education, but also you have to work at leadership. It is a constant work in progress. You never actually get there and say, yes, my work is done, I'm a fantastic leader, I don't need to work on it anymore. One has to keep working, keep developing, one's leadership and management capability, as well, of course, as our knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Kate. Prof. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Prof's gone quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay, we have Prof. If you are joining us. Okay. Yeah, Prof.
Good to
Fletcher.
see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Prof. Fletcher, can you also introduce yourself and also what you do?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, Dr. Adams. I am Professor Jonathan Fletcher, a fellow of the Chartered Institute for Leadership and Governance. I'm the chair of the NEC of CILG Ghana. I am currently the Dean of the School of Education and Leadership at the University of Ghana. And as our name suggests, our school trains leaders for the education sector. So a lot of the things that I'll be talking about today will be on education. And I must say, by way of introduction of the topic that we're going to discuss, a bit of background in terms of the things that people are doing in different countries to support teaching and learning, and also leadership for learning in Ghana, and of course in Africa and throughout the whole world. We all know that in the last 2 decades or so, global attention has focused increasingly on education because of the critical role it plays in human capital and development and poverty reduction. In this country, we all know the challenges that we have, which are similar to challenges we have in Africa generally. And so we are positioned to train leaders who will support lifelong learning. And as we've just been, I've just heard from my colleague, the idea is that leadership does not end. You don't say that I finished my work. It's a lifelong thing. And so we believe strongly that our school is a school that is trying to make sure that everybody who passes through that becomes a leader. And it's quite rightly so that leadership is not limited to people in authority in organizations. Everybody in the organization is a leader. And that's our philosophy. And so in terms of continuing professional development, which is something that we'll be talking about later, we believe strongly that everybody who enters our institution has come in to develop how they can or develop programs for themselves and also for the people they lead, so that they will be able to guide people to learn continuously and also imbibe this idea of lifelong learning.
Okay, Prof. Prof. Fletcher, so to still start from you, then what do you, what is CP or continuing professional development education to you, looking at your capacity as the Dean for School of Leadership and Education, and also what the school stands to do or what the school is doing in Ghana and Africa or the world as a whole? What then is CPDE?
Yes, I also must, thanks very much for the question. I also must, before I answer that question, talk about the challenges that cut across all levels of education system in Africa, in Ghana and Africa particularly. And so as a university, we have a responsibility of ensuring that we produce 21st century graduates who are fit for the rapid changing world of work. And rapid changing means that you don't do the same thing over and over again. And because we know that society is dynamic and the way we work keeps changing, we put a lot of emphasis on continuing professional development or continuing professional education. Or the idea is that we know that preparing students or our people who or participants in this now programs for the world of work is not something that we can say we have finished doing. And bearing in mind also that new organizations spring up with new visions and new missions, we provide opportunity for everyone here to, as I said, practice what we call a continuing professional development in practice. That's what we say, because it's not something that we just learn. We actually practice that within the institution and within also the universities and colleges that we work with. Particularly in this particular country, we are delighted to be part of educational reforms that are going on in this country in different areas or in different sectors. And in education in particular, and especially in our classrooms, the reforms are targeted to teachers who would be able to develop new ways of working so that pupils or students become lifelong learners. So we are, in a way, trying to train people so that when they go to train students or pupils, they themselves will also see the need to keep on learning. And that's how we are developing the continuing professional development at our end here.
Okay, Prof. Kate. So I know the Institute of Leadership Management has a different way of going about the CPD with who has an online structure, well-structured programs and the rest. So to you, what is CPD and what are you also doing in your capacity to also build leaders?
Well, I really agree with what Professor Fletcher was saying about having to be a lifelong learner and to recognize that really the only way you can deal with the uncertainty, with rapid change, is to know that you're good at learning, that you'll be able to learn new knowledge, new skills, new capabilities. So at the Institute, we recognize that people learn in lots of different ways. Some like to watch videos, others like to listen to podcasts, a lot of people still really like to read. But what really brings it all to life, especially in organizations, is conversation. It's when you've read something interesting and you check your understanding with somebody else. You want to talk about it. You want to share what you've learned, what you've read, and to see what they think about it, to see if it makes sense in your organization. It's also when you find things out about yourself that maybe you weren't aware of. You go and check with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, so that all the time you have a very curious mindset. I want to know more. I want to know more about myself. I want to know more about the organization, the economy, my colleagues. I want to know what's happening in technology. It's just that looking at the world as somewhere you've always something new to find out about. So we at the Institute have a program of learning that people can choose the bits they want to learn. We recognize 49 components of leadership and management. So you can look at any one of those 49. You can read about it, as I say, watch a video, but also do a test, because all of these things help people learn. They want to read, know things, they want to know that they know things, they want to talk to other people. And what we find really, really important is recognition, so that you're able to show on LinkedIn, on your CV, or show your manager, show your family that you've actually achieved something. So every little bit of learning that you do for us at the Institute, you actually get what we call a standard MET badge, and you're able to display that. So it's everything. It's just all of those things coming together. But as I say, I think I can't emphasize enough, it's having that curiosity about work, about leadership, about economies, that I think really sets the great people apart, because they know they have so much to learn.
Okay, so then what is the impact of continuing professional development education on professional development? Kate.
Sorry, could I miss the first word of that? What is the
impact, the impact.
It's organisations that are responsive. I mean, we found with COVID-19, as I'm sure everybody did in Ghana in Africa, that quick switch to home working needed people who were prepared to work differently, to take a risk, to use technology that they'd not used before, and to give it their best shot. And those companies that were like that, those organisations that had those people, had that mindset, are reporting improved productivity. They're achieving things in short time frames that they never would have thought possible before. And that, to me, is a can-do culture. That's a culture of learning, of seeing things as challenges and opportunities, and not saying, oh, we don't know what to do about that, oh, this is dreadful. We're saying we can find a way around that. And finding a way around it invariably means looking things up, using Google, using YouTube, LinkedIn Learning. The answers are all there for us if only we have the enthusiasm to find them out. So that's what CPD is. It's a very, very systematic way of carrying on learning. And as Professor Fletcher said, gathering that recognition, maybe qualifications, digital accreditation. Keep reminding yourself how much you've done, how much you've learned, and how good you are at learning.
Okay, Professor Fletcher.
Yes.
So, Prof, what also then is the impact of CPDE on professional development?
Okay, thank you very much. I would go. In fact, we have a story to tell about one of these reforms that are happening in this country, and I would pick the colleges of education. Because until 2012, the colleges were awarding certificates. There was a 2-year program, and they were awarding certificates, and a lot of issues, arose as a result of the way the teachers were trained, and people, had challenges with the way they actually worked when they came out of the colleges. And so since 2012, things have changed. Now, in that year, the certificate course was changed, upgraded, and it became a diploma course. And so the teachers did 3 years instead of 2 years. And that continued until last year. And again, there were challenges because we were training teachers for the basic school, and as you know, the basic school, you start from KG1 to junior high school 3. So you were training people to teach, at different levels for just about, because if you look at that, it's about 11 years, and we realized that wasn't working. And so now, and what's fascinating is that because the system was such that you were training somebody who was supposed to teach across 9 levels or 11 levels, or sometimes it was very difficult to actually measure the impact of their work. What has happened now is that the colleges of education have now been turned into degree awarding institutions, and as a result of that, it has become necessary for the tutors to do continuous professional development seriously, because the curriculum has changed and they have to learn all the time. And the success story is that for the past 2 years, our school has been involved in supporting tutors in the colleges of education to meet this new challenge. In 2014, we had actually started looking at how the students were taught at the College of Education and the impact it would have also on their teaching when they came out of the university. Now, because of this new program, we've had to do all of it again, and then we are working with the tutors, like every week, because there is an institutionalized CPD sessions for tutors of colleges of education that happens every week. And this has gone on for, I think, the past 2 years. And the impact of that is amazing. It's not only that the tutors are now able to do their work very, very well, but the student teachers who are being trained by these tutors are doing exceptionally well in schools. So you can see the impact of the CPD for the tutors. And we did a survey quite recently, and as many as 93% of the tutors are doing exactly what they're supposed to do as tutors. They're asking the right questions, they're promoting learning, they are using strategies, for teaching inclusively. They using strategies for making sure that there is gender equality and everything. So, and because of that, the student teachers who are also learning to teach in the basic schools are using these things. So you can see the impact of the continuing professional development programs that are happening in the colleges of education. Actually, the impact actually goes beyond that, beyond the colleges, and now they're in the basic schools where the students, teachers are demonstrating excellent skills in making sure that everybody in the class is taken into, everybody's needs and taken into consideration when they are teaching them. So to say that the impact is great is an understatement. So continual professional development is a great idea, and I believe strongly that now our teachers have actually, accepted that wholeheartedly, and they cannot wait to do that every week. So it's important for everybody in any organizations at all that learning, as I keep saying, as Kate also has said, should be continuous. And so all I will say is that the impact it's kind of, it has a rippling effect. It doesn't even end there. Still speaking, if the students are teaching very well in the schools, it would mean that there will be better learning outcomes and the pupils will learn how to learn continuously.
Okay, Prof. If you just join us, this is the Director's Diary, the Thursday's edition, organized by the African Directorate of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance. And we're having a discussion with Kate Kooper from the Institute of Leadership Management, and also a council member of CILG Global, and also Professor Jonathan Fletcher, also the NEC chairman, and also Dean for School of Leadership and Education at University of Ghana. So Kate, so whose responsibility is it to ensure that there is continuous learning or there is CPD in an organization? Is it the employer or the employee?
I think that was just a great example there from Professor Fletcher to show what a really big effort put into CPD. And as he said, the ripples continue because everybody gets better. I think the challenge that we have, particularly with leadership and management, and I think this is across the world, is that it's so difficult to mandate CPD. Our doctors have mandatory CPD, our lawyers, our accountants, all of those professions, they've got to keep doing their CPD, keep up to date in order to regain their professional recognition. It's a bigger challenge for leaders and managers because you rarely see a job, do you? Leader wanted, manager wanted. It's always a manager of something or a leader in something. So I think it's at an organisational level that maybe you can't mandate it, but what you can do is create a culture where it's expected. And the way you do that, of course, is by getting as many people as possible taking learning seriously. So if your senior leadership team do their CPD, they talk about it, they make public the records, managers as part of appraisals ask people what they're doing about their CPD and share what they're doing, then there's nowhere to hide if you're not doing it. And I think that's the important thing. It becomes such a part of your organisational life, but you have to recognise it does, give people time, give them an hour or two a week to do any learning that they want, because it's the learning how to learn that you need as an organisation. So I think to make it the responsibility of the individual. It might work for some individuals. It's certainly all the people on this call today, probably undoubtedly, but that's not going to change the culture of the organisation. You have to have that concerted effort. You have to have lots of opportunities for learning. All of the things really that Professor Fletcher just described for the teachers, that it's there, it's accessible, people can do it, and somebody cares that you're doing it, somebody's interested that you're doing it, and that's how you will get that absolute buy-in. So it becomes second nature.
Okay, Prof. Employer-employee, whose responsibility is to ensure that there is CPD or there is continuous learning?
Well, I think a bit of both, because I think, and Kate is actually, hit the nail on the head, because for me, it's something that should be, it's an initiative that should come from the employee. In this country, for example, and I keep using the teachers, even if you go beyond the colleges of education and you look at our in-service training for teachers, they believe strongly, teachers believe strongly that there is future for CPD, because they know that if nothing at all, it creates a pool of teachers who function effectively and reflectively and are proficient practitioners. And so they themselves, teachers themselves, know that they need to improve their skills in order to gain promotion, for example. And so they are prepared, at any time to be part of a CPD program. So for teachers in this country, they believe strongly that they themselves must be responsible for making sure that they develop their skills. And of course, the employer, in this particular case, the government, should also play the part, because the idea is that if an employer invests in CPD for employees, it's a good investment, because definitely if it's a very good program, then the people or the employees are going to work better. They're going to work in different ways and making sure that there is efficiency. And so it seems to me that both the employee and the employer must see continued professional development as an investment that will bring economic gains. If that happens, then it is not either or. I think it's a joint effort. And in this country, and especially with the teaching, teachers, as I say, are very, very keen to make sure. Of course, that means that, because if you have a promotion system which is point-based, what means is that teachers are promoted based on sometimes the number of continuing professional development programs that they've successfully completed and the impact that has had on their teaching. And so I would say that it's a joint effort. It's not something that should be left to the employer alone. And it's something that both the employer and the employee must consider as necessary for growing the business.
Okay, Prof, thank you very much. Before we continue, if you have any question, you can still send us the questions at the, you can use the chat section to send your questions, or you can also raise up your hands and we will call you in to ask your question. Before we go back to Kate Kooper to continue with the discussion, I will take this, let me use some few minutes to also acknowledge some of our fellows who have in our midst. After I'm done with mine, I would also invite in the country director for CILG Nigeria to also acknowledge some fellow members we also have in our midst. And any of them that would want to also make a contribution, we give them a minute each to also make their contribution before we go back to our guest for today to have their concluding remarks on our discussion for today. So we'll have also in our midst a fellow and also a paramount chief, Dr. Ordeneho Afram Boate. Dr. Ordeneho, Doc, please, are you with us? Hello, Doc, are you with us?
Yes, I am. I'm
okay,
here.
yes. So Doc is also with us. Doc, you are welcome. Doc, any
Thank
contribution,
you.
a minute's contribution on the CPD?
Yeah, of course. I think like our senior colleagues have already alluded to, in this modern world or in this current environment, everything is changing at a very high speed. So you cannot continue to be living with the old skills and think that you can survive and do the right thing. So we don't have a choice. That is how I want it is not an option to pursue continuous professional development. It is only the way to go so that at the end of the day, you adapt to new changes and then sharpen your skills to be able to deal with new challenges. Look at the devastation nature of this COVID and how it has changed everything. So some people now are learning even how to use their phones. Hitherto, they have been using their phone just for making calls and text messages. I think this is an amazing opportunity for us to remind ourselves that the world is not going to be as it is, and we don't have that guarantee. Even in the Bible, there was never that guarantee that we will remain as it is. So CPD is the way away for us to be able to sharpen our skills to deal with the challenges we are going to be confronted with in every aspect of leadership. In our families, I was just discussing with one of our church leaders, and I told him that now we know our case better than ever because they spend most of their times in schools, they come home for holidays, we are not available to be with them, but this COVID has proven to be very useful in a way. We have come to know our kids more than ever. These are all part of the challenges families and parents have even been confronted with within the family. So in every aspect of your life as a leader, you need to be updating your knowledge, your skills, and your approach to deal with situations. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Odenonwa from Wate. He is a paramount chief and also work with University of Energy and Natural Resources. Doc. Yes. Okay. We also have Professor Nanefia A. Opoku Asare. Prof, are you with us? Professor Nanefia joined us earlier on.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, Prof, you're welcome. Just a minute's contribution.
Yes. CPD is very, very critical for personal gains, actually. In 2003, when our CD had to be counted in millions to pay for professional development, I did pay for participating in the Chartered Institute of Administration and Management Consultancy programs. And, you know, I did it on my own. It wasn't even recognized by the university as counting towards my promotion or anything. But I deemed it very, very critical because I would definitely be a head of department and I needed that professional touch to my academic life. So I paid good money for that one. People didn't think it was a prudent idea, but in the end, it inured to me my own benefit as a head of department and a vice dean of the faculty, as well as managing my own students of the regular students, the academics, and then the professional students. So CPD is critical to our personal progress in life, and not only counting towards our work productivity, but for enhancing our own lives. So this is fantastic, and everything Kate and Professor Fletcher have said are exactly what is required. It is for both. What the university brings up for professional development is more tailored to academics. The only times that it comes in when new people are appointed as heads of departments and heads of units, directors of institutions, as well as deans and directors. But it's specific to the responsibility people are getting into. and it is to help. But on the whole, I suggest that individuals should work towards getting themselves professionally upgraded because it helps to move on. Thank you. Oh, I lost the sound.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
we also have in our midst Nanajwa Kunedu Zani. She's also a fellow. She's also a fellow of the Institute. Nana, just a minute contribution.
Oh yeah, hi. Hi everyone. It's good to see everyone. Okay, so as for Prof. Nanefia and Prof. Fletcher and then everyone else have said, CPD K2 also made good contributions and all that. I said that CPD, as Prof. Nanefia said, I think it should be more personal. You, the individual, should be the one to take those initiatives. You should be the one to invest in it, because at the end of the day, though if your institute invests in it or if your institute pays for you, they would benefit. You are the one who benefit the greatest. So I think the individual should make it a point to, because you are learning for your own development. Tomorrow, if you are leaving that institution that pays for you, you are carrying whatever value you have added to yourself to wherever you're going. So I think the individual should be the one to take initiative to develop and then participate in CPDs. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. George Kiilu. Mr. George Kiilu. He is the country director of CILG for Botswana. Country director for CILG Botswana. Mr. George Kiilu, any contribution in a minute?
Thank you, Dr. Asare. As indicated, my name is George Kiilu. I'm based in Botswana and country director. Just to round it off, like all the other speakers have said, probably for me, I will direct each of the participants here to an interview that was done with the CEO of Nokia as they were going down. And when he was asked, he said, "We did nothing wrong." In that statement, what we need to appreciate is Nokia kept their cool. Nokia kept their movement. What they failed to do was to learn. They did not learn. They did not see the change coming. They kept what they knew. And as a result of that, the change overtook them. And Nokia as a company was almost wound up. It is now that they are coming back. So to us as individuals, we must remember, you are good now, you could be super now. If you don't learn, if you don't continuously learn, you will become redundant. You'll be like that. I think all of us at one point used a phone that had a very long aerial. You'll be like that, outdated and not usable anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiilu. Yeah, Mr. Kiilu is the country director for Botswana. Now, I'll hand over to Dr. Segun Ojarotade, CILG country director for Nigeria. Dr. Segun will give us his contribution. After that, Dr. Segun will begin to also introduce the fellow members who have joined us from Nigeria and other African countries to also make their contribution. After which we will go back to our guest to run up the interview. Dr. Segun.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. Thank you, Kate Kooper, and thank you, Professor Fletcher. I'm happy to see Professor Fletcher again after my journey to Ghana a few years ago. So seeing him here again is a good pleasure. Thank you for your input and contribution. Before I introduce some of my fellows from Nigeria, I would like to refer us to a statistic conducted by World Bank in 2014 about 4 variables in doing businesses in the world. And the first thing on that variable is skill development.
They talked about skill development, competitiveness. They talked about access to market and many things. The first one I want to look at is skill development. How do you survive in business? How do you survive in organizational management? How do you navigate when you don't develop your skill? So CPD is about continuous skill development. For you to face the competitive environment, for you to survive in the business you are. You see, there is a new order now of operation. When you are skillful, when you keep working on yourself, you won't be caught unaware. You will know what to do. You know how to move forward. So I want to encourage us not to stop developing our skill in order to enhance our value. I'll hang it up there because of time. Let me also recognize the presence of some of our fellows from Nigeria. I can see Dr. Olubode. Okay, it's a pleasure to see you. If you hear me, you can unmute and just say hi there. I can see Pastor Folorun Shaw is going to be our guest again, hopefully very soon on this platform. Oh, thank you. That's Professor Olubode. And I can see Abdurazak. I can see Olua. Okay, Oluwasegun Urare. Can you say hi to us? I can see him. I can see, okay, Abdurazak. Say hi. Okay, these are some of our fellow. I can see His Royal Highness Olasoji Oladele. Can you say hi to us? That's His Royal Highness. I can see Reverend Osuyomi Bamidele. Okay, can you say hi to us too there from there?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good to see all of you.
I can see, thank you. I can see Regina Dimlock. I can see Bemigbo Scott. Please unmute and say hi to us. I can see Pastor Peter. I can see, okay, Regina, thank you. I can see Bemigbo. I can see Pastor Peter Obi. Okay, you see, I have a lot of members from Nigeria on this platform today. I can see Bemigbo Scott. And I can see, okay, I can see Barrister Alex Scott joining us as well. Thank you. Say hi. I can see Iframe Johnson. I can also see Afisetu, Wisdom Olusegun, Emmanuel Kojo. I can see Olushola Temitope. I can see a lot of members from Nigeria this afternoon. These are lovers of skill development. And I can also recognize someone there, a good friend, a senior colleague in the development area. I would like him to also have his voice. That is an impression of Mr. Ola Aziz. Mr. Ola Aziz, can you just 1 minute input to the topic of the day? Okay, Mr. Ola Aziz, can you unmute yourself? 1 minute input. Can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. Okay, we can't hear him. He's not able to unmute himself. Okay, Mr. Ola Aziz, can you make your input on today's section? Yeah. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello.
We can hear you. Okay, I guess he's having a network challenge. He is the Vice President of NITAD in Lagos branch, speaking from Lagos State, Nigeria, Nigeria Institute of Training and Development. He has been speaking enough about CPD in Nigeria. He's an advocate of continuous professional development. He has more than 3 decades experience in developmental area as an HR expert. But maybe because of network, he's not able to speak. So I want to welcome all Nigerians on this platform. Let me go back to the host, Dr. Adam Bediako. You can continue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Segun.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gloria. I can see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Segun. Ola Aziz, your hands are up. You have a question for us?
Not really a question.
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Ola Aziz.
It's okay.
Okay.
I have now. Thank you, Dr. Segun. Thank you, the organizer. I feel proud to be part of this setting. I sincerely thank you for really organizing this. The stake is very, very germane, especially now with the pandemic. That life so difficult, so indeterminable. So my appeal to everybody is for us not to go into extinction, come extinct. We should continue to sharpen our skill. We should continue to really work and shop for ideas that can make us do things better and do better things. Of course, at any other forum, we'll be able to talk elaborately on this. I most sincerely thank all for their contribution. I gain a lot, and I want to continue to gain. Thank you, Dr. Segun, for bringing us on board from Nigeria. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz. Thank you.
Thank you. We have this statement also from Genevieve. Genevieve Pearl Duncan. She's also a fellow. Genevieve, are you with us? Hello, Genevieve. Okay.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, Genevieve. Okay. You are welcome. Also, a minute contribution.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can give us.
I think I posted my contribution. Okay,
okay,
so
then let me read that.
Yes, thank you so much.
From Genevieve, our advice that we should be intentional about CPD because it will help build our confidence and credibility. Great discussion. Thanks to Kate and Prof. Fletcher. Okay, thank you to Genevieve. Okay, so we'll go back to Kate. Kate, your concluding remarks. Hello, Kate, your concluding remarks.
Hello, yes. I think that word that Genevieve just introduced through the chat box is just brilliant. We must be intentional about our CPD. And I think that really solves the dilemma as to whether it's the individual's responsibility or the organization's responsibility. Because if we are intentional, we not only develop ourselves, we do the great studying that we've had the examples of, but we're a really good role model for other people. And I think one of the most generous things you can do as a leader or manager is to say to somebody, what have you learned? Tell me about it. So you are being intentional in your desire to hear about other people's learning, just as you are being intentional in trying to develop yourself. So I think everybody, today has got the opportunity to be such a brilliant inspiration for everybody they work with, to show them the power and the great results you get from committing yourself to learning.
Thank you, Kate. Do we have Gaynor? Do you have Gaynor with us? Also from the Leadership Management Institute. Do you have with us? Gaynor Lewis. Okay.
Okay.
It's lovely to join you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Your remarks also on CPD. I think you've heard the discussions. Your contribution to it. Then we'll move to Prof. Fletcher for the final remarks.
Crikey, you don't leave me with much more to say. I love that word intentional. I think Genevieve has done a great job there. And Kate obviously building on that. I can only agree with the conversation that's taken place in the last hour that has genuinely shared the importance and the value that sits behind each of us really concentrating and focusing on our learning and our CPD. And we're delighted to be in conversation with Dr. Asare around how we can support CILG in doing that. So I look forward to further discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaynor. Okay, Olu, sorry, I might not be able to mention the name, get the pronunciation well, but your hands are up. Olu, so when you can talk, you can unmute yourself and talk, ask the question.
Oluwasegun Omoworare is the pronouncement.
Okay.
Yeah. Oluwasegun Omoworare. Please make your input, sir.
Good morning, everybody, for the wonderful discussion. I am of the opinion that both the individual and the organization should be responsible for CPD. It's fast becoming a competitive world. The organization that wants to survive, like the director from Bostwana said, must be able to invest in the development and the development of the skills of the workers. And the individual that wants to survive both within the organization and outside the organization should be able to invest into capacity development. I'm of the opinion that when it comes to responsibility, both the organization and the individuals should be responsible. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take the last question from Chidike Okoro. Chidike Okoro. Yes.
Okay, good day. Actually participating from Nigeria. My name is Chidike Okoro, like you rightly mentioned, though I came in a bit late. But I want to ask, what are some of those key skills that are required by leaders given the digital era that we're in now? The question.
Okay, can you ask your question again?
Okay, what are the key skills required? What are the key skills required now?
Okay.
Key skills that are central, okay, to every leader, every entrepreneur, that will enable such a leader to be able to scale through given the times that we're in now.
Okay. Okay, Prof. Fletcher.
Yeah.
So, Prof, I think you take the question and also give us a final conclusion.
Oh, okay. There's so many things that we need. Now, I think what I've always seen as key is something that is I said to all my students, perseverance is something that should be something that should live with us. There are other, of course, there are other key things that a leader must have, and there will be 1,001. We cannot name all of them. I think it's important in leadership to believe that we are serving, not lording it on the people. And the reason I mentioned perseverance is that little did we know that we were going to have serious issues with COVID-19. And in our institution, for example, we had all the theories and everything. And we thought that we had two options. One option is to wait till the end of COVID-19, and then we start all over again. But we said, no, we will try and do something. We did one thing, it didn't work. We said, no, we will do another thing. We did another thing, it didn't work. We said, no, we'll do another thing. Now, eventually, we tried 3 different models of trying to solve the problem of making sure that we were learning in spite of the challenges that COVID-19 posed to us. Our main challenge was in the area of assessment. And so we were saying that, okay, what do we do? How do we engage the students and at the same time assess them and make sure that you know, the assessment is accurate? And we tried different models of assessment. None of them worked. And in the middle of it, we abandoned them. And also, okay, good. We are going to try something else. And eventually, it came out that the assessment strategy that we were, you know, thinking of at the beginning, which we didn't even consider, became the strategy that all of us are using now. So now we are able to assess our students remotely in a way that it's almost like they are with us. The point is that if we had given up, we would have to wait till the end of the period, which we don't know before we assess our students like we do face-to-face. So for me, perseverance is a key thing that should be something that guides everyone. And of course, there are other key factors that we should look at. Coming to the lessons that I have learned through my work with teachers and fellow lecturers and so on, I believe that whatever we do, we must focus on a limited number of key priorities, which are clearly understood across the delivery system. Because whatever CPD that you are thinking about must be something that can be delivered. It's no point thinking about big things that cannot happen. So that's my first thing, the lesson that I've learned. The second lesson is also that to ensure that there is a strong link between priorities and resources. In most cases, we want to do big things, but we don't consider the resources. And sometimes we fail in the end, even if we persevere, so that we have adequate budgets that are available to support each priority. Maybe what I also think I should add, and for me, that is the most important thing, is to develop a clear understanding of the outcomes that we are looking for, the tangible outcomes. So for example, if we are engaging ourselves in CPD, what is it that we are looking to gain from the CPD? And as Najwa said, in most cases it's personal because you actually have the personal gain, and of course that will send ripples down to everybody. And so that if we know the outcome, we are clear about the tangible outcome, so that we then view the priorities in perspective that is achieved at the level of the individual. It's very important. We must also ask ourselves, what next? That is a question we should ask ourselves. And the last time I met with a group of teachers and I asked them, what next? They gave me a very interesting answer. They said, remote teaching and learning. How do we do that? Teaching in an emergency situation requiring non-face-to-face delivery. How do we do that? And blended teaching and learning. How do we do that? And so the teachers themselves are generating the need. And so there's always the need for them to do CPD. So I think the most important thing is to encourage people to ask this question: what next? What next? What next? Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. We also have Dr. Oliver Museka. Dr. Oliver Museka. He is the Deputy Director of African Operations. Dr. Oliver, are you with us?
Yes, Doc, how are you?
Yeah, we are doing fine. Dr. Oliver, your contribution.
Thank you so much, Doc. Although you're catching me unaware, I was off. But CPD, when it comes to education and training, like I indicated last week, we all need to set a destiny. We need to know where we are going. And as an individual, when you get to where you're getting, you need to also to improve. We need always to improve and work on ourselves. We cannot be stagnant and be at the same space. We can't do that. So there is serious need for that, and there is also serious need for networking. Thank you for the work that you are doing as under CILG. There's need for this kind of interaction, because as we are interacting now, this is development, because we learn and get a lot from these particular discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver. A quick contribution from Genevieve again. I think digital skills, learn to use collaborative tools and be very, very resilient as leaders. Also from Mr. Kiilu, George, allow me to also say that in my opinion, adaptability skills, in addition to perseverance, will be a great plus. From Lucky, execution is the process of aligning people's strategy and operating plans. How a CPD help drive this process in the present new normal? I think we had ended this, but if I could give Prof just 1 minute to answer this question. I thought it was a contribution, but no, it was a question. So if Prof, you can use 1 minute to answer this question for us. Execution is the process of aligning people's strategy and operating plans. How a CPD help drive this process in the present new normal?
Sorry, so the question again, I didn't get the first bit.
Execution is the process of aligning people, strategy, and operating plans. How a CPD helping to drive this process in the present new normal?
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. I mean, we did not know because we still needed to continue what we're doing. I mean, companies will continue in spite of COVID-19. What that means is that because execution is important, you need to align it to a plan which you would have created long before the emergency situation arrived. What that means is that you have to learn new ways of doing things, and this is how CPD this is why CPD is so important. Because if you are going to use the old strategy, which you designed when you were planning, it will not be possible for you to do any execution at all. And therefore, if there has been a change in the situation, it's important for you to learn a new way of doing it. And you learn this new way through CPD. If you don't have any idea at all, of course, you must have a new way of doing the thing. You've got to learn through CPD. And that's how CPD is important. Why it's important? Because things change all the time. And the plans that you have actually made may be rendered obsolete because of a new situation. So that when the situation becomes a different one to the one that you had actually planned initially, you need to learn again. And that's how you do. You learn through CPD, which is why CPD is a lifelong learning process.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. And thank you, everyone. Quick announcement. On the 9th of September, the Nigeria chapter is also hosting us for another webinar, which is called Parenting in the Digital Age. parenting in a digital age. And we are having our own Dr. Preeti D'Souza. You know, she is the assistant professor at Mangalore University, and she is also a fellow of the professional body. In fact, she is one of the first fellows that joined the professional body, also from Asia. So we are having her also be facilitating the program with Mrs. Tolulu Awolosi, also God willing, on Wednesday 9th. Please kindly note that the Zoom meeting ID is 844-0332-7616 for that event. I'm repeating it again, 844-033-27816. And still our password is CILG. And that is on the 9th of September 2020. And Nigeria time is 11, so Ghana will be 10. And, you know, we have all the time here. And the meeting, the host for the meeting too will be Nigeria. And Dr. Segun will host us that day. Another announcement, we are also having the Africa Leadership and Investment Summit come the 2nd to the 7th of November 2020. And as was announced last week, if you want to go with us, if you want to come for the event, kindly contact your country director. So if you are in Nigeria, kindly contact Dr. Segun. If you are in Zambia, you kindly contact Daniel Obo. Botswana, Mr. Kiilu. Eswatini, Dr. Oliver. Cameroon, Dr. Saka. And other countries. We have 17 countries in Africa. And we are all going there from the 2nd to the 7th for this program. Ghana and international, you can still contact my number, which is also on the flyer. You can also send us an email address at adams.asare@cilglobal.org. You can also visit cilglobal.org website, and you see the email address of all the country directors we have in Africa also there. One more time, thank you, Kate Kooper, the council member for CILG Global, and also head of research for the Institute of Leadership Management. Thank you, Professor Jonathan Fletcher, the next chairman for CILG Ghana, and also the dean for School of Leadership and Education for University of Ghana. And thank everyone, all the country directors and everyone for joining this event or for joining this webinar. Meet you same time next week. And next week we are also going to host another guest from Nigeria and also another guest from Tanzania, God willing, next week. Remember, with Director's Diary, the meeting ID is the same and the password is the same for all events. So next week, meet us same time, 11 a.m. Ghana time, 12 p.m. Nigeria time. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Unmute yourself, then, you know, as we've always been doing, then to say goodbye to ourselves as we've been doing. Yes, yes. So the goodbye, you can just wave us.
Goodbye from Abuja.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Abuja, Nigeria.
Look at that. Okay.
Yeah, so good to see all of you.
Goodbye. 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 Okay, meet you same time next week, 11 Ghana time, 12 Nigeria time, and bye-bye.
Bye.